So, here's what happened. One day, out of nowhere, I get this letter from my HOA. Yeah, the Homeowners Association. And it says my asterisk lake, the one I dug, maintained, and paid for, is now being officially labeled as a HOA recreation zone. Meaning, they think it's open to everyone kayaks, paddleboards, fishing, basically a public park. I was shocked. I mean, who does that? This was my peaceful spot, a little piece of quiet, and suddenly, it's about to become a weekend hangout for half the neighborhood. I tried talking to them, reasoning. No use. Their minds were made up. That's when I had an idea. If they wanted a community lake, fine, but it wasn't going to be the kind of lake they expected. I started building floating beehives. Yep, actual beehives. On the water. You should have seen the look on people's faces when they spotted the first few bobbing gently in the shallows. But this wasn't just a prank, it was a message. And trust me, it got their attention real quick. Now, I know what you're thinking. Won't bees on water be a problem? Oh, it was. For them asterisk. But for me, let's just say the lake stayed pretty quiet after that. But that wasn't the end. What happened next turned the whole thing upside down. So here's the thing, they didn't always care about the lake. For years, nobody even noticed it. I cleaned it, stocked it with fish, even put in some lilies and a small dock. It was my little weekend project, something peaceful to come home to. But then suddenly, the HOA got all excited after a new board president moved in, someone with big ideas about shared community assets. And just like that, my private lake got rebranded without warning. No vote, no discussion. Just a notice slapped on my door like it was no big deal. People started showing up that weekend with floaties, drinks, even Bluetooth speakers. It felt like a beach party on my land. And every time I raised concerns, I got the same robotic answer. It's now part of that HOA's recreational space. Like I was supposed to be okay with strangers trampling around and turning the place into their personal hangout. That's when I remembered something a friend told me years ago about how bees don't really mind floating hives. I figured, why not? They don't sting unless provoked, and honestly, they deserved that peaceful space more than the people blaring music and leaving trash behind. But here's where it gets strange. After the hives showed up, things started happening. Weird things, stuff I couldn't explain, even if I tried. At first, the floating beehives just confused everyone. People thought it was some kind of quirky art project or maybe part of a nature experiment. But then the buzz, literally, started getting louder. You could hear the hum from the dock, and people who tried to paddle too close. Let's just say they didn't hang around long. The HOA tried to act calm about it, sending polite emails like, "Please remove any unauthorized structures from the recreational lake." But they knew they'd overstepped, and now they were scrambling to control the narrative. But here's where it started getting weird. One morning, I walked out to check the hives, and they were gone. Not damaged, not floating away. Gone, every single one. No bees, no wood, nothing. Just the calm water and a single lily pad left drifting near the center. I knew I didn't move them, and no one around here had the guts, or the gear, to take floating hives in the middle of the night. It didn't make any sense. Then neighbors started mentioning strange lights over the lake at night. Not flashlights, like glowing orbs just hovering low above the water. A few people even swore they heard the humming sound long after the bees were gone. It wasn't just about the HOA anymore. Something else was going on out there, and I was right in the middle of it. After the hives vanished, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Not in a paranoid way, more like the lake itself had eyes now. Every night, I'd sit by the window, lights off, just staring out at that dark water, hoping to catch whatever it was people were whispering about. I even set up a trail cam near the dock, aimed right at the spot where the hives used to float. The next morning, the SD card was wiped. Like, blank. No footage, no error. Just nothing. The HOA stayed quiet after that. Dead quiet. No more emails, no more visitors. The board president, Mr. Kepler, the one who kicked this whole thing off, suddenly stopped showing up to meetings. A neighbor told me he left town in the middle of the night. No explanation, just packed up and vanished. That's when the rumors really took off. Some said he was threatened. Others claimed he saw something in the lake, and couldn't deal with it. Then came the sounds. Not just buzzing, but this low, vibrating hum that seemed to come from deep below the surface. It wasn't constant, just pulsing, like a warning. Or maybe a call. Whatever it was, it spread. Even neighbors across the street started mentioning headaches, strange dreams, and this pressure in their chest they couldn't explain. And that's when I saw it. One night, standing by the dock, a faint shape rising just beneath the water. The shape under the water didn't move like a fish. It was slow, deliberate, almost like it was watching me. I froze. My first instinct was to back away, but I couldn't. I just stood there, locked in, waiting for it to surface. But it didn't. Instead, the water started to ripple outward, like something big had just exhaled. And then it was gone. No splash, no bubbles, just silence. The next morning, I found something new at the end of the dock, a perfectly intact beehive. Just one. It wasn't one of mine. Different wood, different structure. It looked older, almost handmade, and it was dry, even though it had clearly just been in the lake. I didn't touch it. I just stared, heart pounding. And then I noticed there were no bees, no sound, just this strange, sticky black residue oozing slowly from the corners. That's when things really escalated. I got a call from one of the last remaining HOA board members. She sounded shaken, said I needed to get out of the house. Told me Kepler had tried to control whatever was in the lake using the HOA zoning change as cover. Said it wasn't about recreation at all, it was containment. But something had gone wrong. And now it wasn't just my lake anymore. It was spreading. I didn't wait. That night, I packed a bag and walked down to the lake one last time. I had to know what I was dealing with before I left it behind. Or worse, let it follow me. The old hive was still there, sitting like it had been waiting for me. I pushed it gently with a stick, and it tipped over, hollow inside. But the second it touched the water, the air changed. That low hum returned, deeper this time, almost vibrating through the ground beneath my feet. Then the water started churning, slow at first, then faster, like a whirlpool forming. I stumbled back, heart racing, as the surface broke open and something rose up. Not a monster, not some creature out of a movie, but a structure. A huge, submerged hive-like dome, pulsing with dim orange light. It wasn't natural. It looked built man-made, or something close to it. And floating just above it, in mid-air, was one of my original hives. Perfectly preserved, like it had been taken and returned. Suddenly, the hum stopped. Silence. And then, as quickly as it came, the dome sank back down, leaving nothing but calm ripples behind. The next morning, the lake was drained. Completely dry. No sign of anything. No hive, no water. Just cracked earth. And taped to my front door, a notice. * property removed from HOA jurisdiction. Thank you for your cooperation. *. After everything, I just stood there staring at the dried-up lake bed, still half expecting it all to start again. But nothing happened. Days passed, the hum was gone. The weird dreams stopped. The neighborhood went quiet, almost too quiet. People avoided eye contact, and the HOA acted like none of it had ever happened. No more recreation signs, no more complaints. It was like the lake never existed. I never did figure out what that structure really was or why it responded to the hives. Maybe the bees had nothing to do with it, or maybe they were the only ones that understood it. Either way, I was done digging for answers. I planted wildflowers where the lake used to be. The soil was cracked but healing. And for the first time in a long while, I actually felt calm. Looking back, I still can't explain what happened. The zoning dispute, the vanishing hives, the lights in the water. It sounds too strange to be real. But it was. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that some things aren't meant to be claimed, labeled, or shared. Some places keep their own rules. And sometimes, when you push too hard, the lake pushes back.